Welcome back, everyone, to episode 12, and will likely be the last episode of my Legacy of Kain Soul Reaver playthrough. In the previous episode, we managed to make our way to the boss chamber of our last lieutenant brother, Duma. We found that he had been shackled to his throne and impaled through the heart multiple times. When we pulled the impaling implements out, I don't know what to call them, they were basically long sticks that were sharpened. He came back to life, said that he was so far advanced that even Kain couldn't kill him. We did find that none of our weapons or any other tactics would work in getting rid of him, so we ended up luring him into a fire chamber, or some room that basically was designed to just light a bunch of methane on fire. Used it to kill him, got his soul, which gave us the ability to spin in a circle and create a big constricting force. And we are now outside of the final chamber of the game. I believe they call it the Cave of Oracles or something of that nature. So all we have left is to go and find Kain and confront him and, in theory, kill him and end our own nightmare. I would assume after this, the idea was supposed to be that you killed Kain, and the Elder God thanked you by letting you rest in peace finally, but who knows, maybe it's something completely different. Let's put this down. Yes, and do this. Alright, that's not doing it. That's not buttering the biscuit. Let's see if we can open the door. No? Let's see if I have to go to the spectral plane to get this open. Not changing. Well, that was disappointing. No, you don't. No, you don't, jerk. Give me your soul. Grab that glyph juice. Nothing up here, I imagine. Of course not. That would make no sense. Alright, well, we're here, but I don't know what that accomplished, unless there is a side room somewhere that I missed. Maybe over there? Again, man, the color choices that they... Oh, there is another room there. Okay. So that's the way I guess we gotta go. The color choices they made at some points in this game are very wild. I do like the splashes of purple, but, you know, that they really are just there to kind of break up the fact that everything is brown and gray in this game to a distracting degree. Back to normal. Was there a hole in the wall before? No. Okay, so we did open it. All right, cool. All right, we did something. Probably should have seen what was in the other room before we did this, but whatever. Aha, that room is brought to you by the letter Z that's been stabbed in the back by a flamberge. About this side. And this room is brought to you by the letter O that was stabbed in the back by a crucifix. A lot of traitors among the alphabet. Alright, we gotta go to Spectral, obviously, to get through those. No idea what it's gonna do for me, but we can get through them. Wah, 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 wah. Can I pull anything out of these? Oh, yes, I can. Hey, bro, what up? Oh, no, you don't. I said, oh, no, you don't. That doesn't mean keep attacking. Listen here, you little bitch. I'm daddy, you're just the little bitch, okay? Alright, in case you didn't know what you had to do, there's the explanation on the door. You have to line up the impaled circle with the impaled Z and go to the Land of Oz. I mean, they made it obvious. Jesus, why can't you figure it out? Oh god, here we go again with the nonsense letters and symbols. The game decided that you hadn't had enough fun with these things before, so they're going to give you some more of them. Alright, can I... do this, or do I have to kill someone down here? Well, there was someone down here. And they just dissolved. Something up above. Wait. Can I... Alright, so I gotta put a block in there, in theory. I think. Oh, let's see. There's a thing there and a thing there. What does the symbol look like? Zigzaggy S or zigzaggy 4? We gotta go to zigzaggy 4, so it is this hole here. Yep. Blocks up here I can push? No, of course not. Alright, I think I know what I gotta do. There's blocks I gotta... Well, no. Because there's one here. And there's one there. So I gotta push it over to the other side. Can I get it over this ledge? I think so. Alright, so. Wait, before I take this. What's the symbol on the roof? That one is zigzaggy 2. So leave that zigzaggy 2 and take this zigzaggy 4. Right? Ah, damn it. I think I know what I gotta do. Alright, so... Get it over to the other side. When I move the block here to open this doorway, we'll have to switch to the spectral plane to get over to the other side. Then we should be able to move it in place, I think. Yeah, so we just get up. We'll have to pull this to open that side, and then we'll have to go around. So here comes the door to close that one. No, don't push it back in, idiot. God damn it. Alright. Grab it. Pull away from the wall, and then let go of the controller, because apparently it's going to try to push it in the wall if I keep holding it. There you go, dummy. Alright. Now we just got a portal back to the other side. Wah, wah, wah. I know we mentioned it at the very beginning of the series, but I'll go ahead and mention it again. The first time I played this game, for whatever reason, my brain just could not process the idea that you would be able to play this game by switching between planes to solve the puzzles. It was like if I couldn't figure it out in one plane, there was no way to solve it until I finally got it after a couple of hours of messing around and not getting it right. And it was like, oh, that's what I gotta do. Because I was a dummy. You're talking a game that came out in 1999, so I was 18 and I still couldn't figure it out. At that point, I was still trying to figure out why the round block couldn't go in the square hole. There we go. Oh, I gotta go back to... See, here we go again. Just not figuring it out. I'm a dummy. Now watch, I'll get over there and realize, oh crap, the wall won't open. Alright, come on. Go, go, go. Was there a portal over here? That might complicate things a bit if there isn't. There is. Alright, cool. Well, but... I'm an idiot. I'm gonna have to go back over there. This will allow me to get through both doors, but it's not activating the gate. I have to put the blocks in these to open the gate, I'm sure. So, let's do that. Move you to the other side and realize that that isn't gonna do what I needed it to. Oh, I did that. Just push, dummy. There you go. So, yeah, congratulations, you opened the doors, but what I was supposed to be doing was getting this open. I get it. Hold on. And then I gotta portal back and change the pathway so that the center rooms are open. I'm sure. Push over here. Over here. Over here. No, 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 no. Dummy. Damn camera. Do that. And then go to the other side and do it on the other one. Wah, 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 wah. I think they could have made that go a lot faster. Honestly, as cool as the graphic is to go through the fence, I think the simple solution is just don't make the gate a physical impediment at all. Just let them walk straight through it. No problem. No T-posing, no Scott Stapp time. Just do the gate. Alright, let's go put our other block in the Z hole. I believe that's how they refer to the genitalia as, as French people would put it. Put it in Z hole. I'm an idiot. Still a kid in many respects. Alright. Just do this, you dummy. Push. Push. Or blast it. There you go. Ta-da! Puzzle solving. Alright, now let's go back to Spectral Plane. Walk through this barrier. And then we got a portal back here, and then turn the dial back the other way. Alright, so I didn't go in the other room, though, right? So that's how I came in. Oh, maybe I'm... Yeah, okay, maybe I'm right. Yeah, I got this. We're getting there. I don't know how many more puzzles we have to solve before we're at the end, but... Hey, what's up? Watch, there's going to be a second one. Somewhere who's going to try to jump me while I'm doing this. So that guy right there is what's called a Turaleme vampire. Now, if the naming conventions hadn't made it obvious, all the vampires are named after the brother vampire that you are supposed to be facing in that particular domain. So we've seen Zephanim and Dumahim, and I think Melchiah's brothers, whatever they were, the Melchihim. But we haven't found a brother named Turl, whatever you want to call it. And there's a reason for that. It turns out there was actually a brother that was cut from the game. We'll go into it when I actually get to the point where I can do the final score and set up for the review phase. But there was a bunch of stuff that was cut out of the game as a result of a pretty nasty dispute between Crystal Dynamics and the company that made the first game, Silicon Knights. But we'll get into that when I do the wrap for the game here. All right, portal back. I see a wall I can climb on the other side. Oh, hello. Can you come through the gate? You can't, and I'll eat you now. Thank you. What was that? He went, oh. It's interesting. When I was writing up the notes for the intro for this series, it just didn't dawn on me to talk about the pretty nasty legal dispute that occurred between Crystal Dynamics and Silicon Knights. But it's all right. We'll get into it a little bit in the final wrap for the series. All right. I see the portal right there. Let's save. Try to make that jump. Can I make it from here? Ooh, got it. Wah, 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 wah. And I can make this jump. Nice. And I see something we probably want to come back to. And what's down below? Was this the room I came in? Hard to tell. Thank you, background singer, for letting me She had to add her little side bit there. In case you didn't know. Alright, go ahead and light it up. And get you some fire sword. God, you know what would have made this an even better upgrade? Make this the thing that keeps you from losing your sword if you take a hit. But, you know, they're cowards. They didn't want to do that. Even the singer agrees with me. That's why she keeps saying, ooh-ah. Alright, well, probably shouldn't do this, but we're going to pull the... Shouldn't do that. No, you don't. Give me your soul. Really wish the soul did not collide with walls in this game. It just does not make sense. Alright, I'm sure what I gotta do here is I gotta grab it, pull it out, blast it into the hole on both sides. Blast it in the hole. Oh, those silly French. Nope. What are you doing? What are you doing? Stop firing at the center of the room. Apparently there's a monster on the other side. Game wants me to know. It's locked in on him. Of course, you can't see anything there that he would be aiming at. Oh, Turalim, I know you're here. That just made me think of... There's a lady enemy in one of the splicers in BioShock who, when you're walking around one of them, you'll hear them call out sometimes when they can't actually see you, but they're trying to convince themselves and you that they totally know you're there. You'll hear this lady go, "I hear you, monster," or "I see you, monster." And she can't actually see you or hear you. She's just trying to let you know that she knows someone's in the room but can't find where they are. That game had some very interesting barks. There's also the one character who... Really sad. He's... All of the characters in that game, in BioShock, are basically just so miserable because of what they've had to do to their bodies to stay alive in this environment. So you hear a lot of them expressing remorse for what they did right before they attack you. Couple of them, one of them is like barking out like biblical phrases while he's trying to find you. There's another one that's basically lamenting that he upgraded his body because he was trying to impress a woman. And he keeps screaming, "I'm just lonely. I'm lonely." It's really sad if you give it any thought. I mean, the game is ultimately supposed to be a long-form rejection of the philosophy of objectivism, and ultimately it's really sad. Nothing that way or this way. I opened a door, but I have no idea where the hell the door was. Let's save real quick. Yup. Made it. Did I have to go through a grate here? I sure did. Damn it. Well, there goes the sword. Oh. Oh, no, you don't. Oh, no, you don't. Get. Big thrumming energy. Yeah. Where's the door that I had to open? Here? Well, no, this was the pit that I would fall into. Well... Alright, I just walked in a big circle. That did not take me where I thought it would. And that's just a portal for energy. So what the hell did I open? Alright, go through the gate again. Now there's the portal back. Oh boy. Real laggy on that jump. The game didn't want to get me across the gap until the last possible step. Yeah, you got that, lady? Oh, Hey, what up? Yes, you came back, so did I. Wait a minute, was that it right there? Was I supposed to go through that? I bet that's exactly what it was. Hold on, let's get rid of this guy and then we can check it out. Alright. So, go back this way. Portal. Yep, there it is. Well, no, because all this is just energy that I don't need. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Give me your soul. Gobble it up. I love how when they're not quite locked onto you, they just kind of saunter. Ooh, I'm gonna be all smooth. That feels like he's trying to walk up to a female wraith and go, hey, baby. Alright, well, this didn't accomplish what I thought it would. So what the hell did I open? There was nothing in here, right? Ah, God damn it. Letting all the spooks back in the room, all the specters and ghoulies. Up. I don't know what I accomplished by getting those things to point at the symbol in the room. Was this the... No? Okay. Okay. I know what I did. So all that did was that opened the door all the way back at the beginning of the entire area. They put a symbol on the door, and that's exactly what those symbols were all pointed at, was the door. I think we just jump down here, and it'll shorten the path a little. So if I go back this way, there's a door on the other side there that we can go into. Gulp him up. Now, the problem is I don't know how to get back up to the... Can I get through here to get to it? I bet I can. Yeah. Ah, damn it. Uh-oh. Well, that's a problem. Well, maybe not. Portal here, I should be able to make the jump, right? Oh, we'll find out in a second. Yup. There we go. And then I have portal back. Get the passage open. I won't say what that kind of looks like. Maybe they could have chosen different imagery. Maybe have it go a different direction. Maybe open, like, vertically. But this is where I needed to go, because the door was not open before, and now it is! Damn it! Ah, you little bastard. Of course. Get the hell out of here. What a prick. Oh, you want to get in a force ball fight? You're going to lose that fight, dick. Give me your soul. Alright, well. Portal back. We want our souls. Give. Of course, no free-floating souls anywhere to be found. So this probably is a portal room, I would imagine. In the physical plane, somewhere. Come on, I need some souls. Of course, I can't find them anywhere. Not one damn soul. Not one damn soul anywhere to be found. Not even a free-floating one. Here, come here. Give to daddy. I hadn't noticed it before, but it looks like I was getting my health back just standing there. Now, did the other one come back? I don't think he did. I hope he didn't. Oh!
The Oracle's Cave, where Kain's first fateful meeting with Moebius occurred. Moebius played the role of a doddering soothsayer, stirring his pot of visions while dispensing enigmatic predictions to gullible visitors. Underneath the facade was Moebius the Time Streamer, sorcerer of the Circle of Nine, a ruthless manipulator with the power to bend time. Since his murder at Kain's hands centuries ago, these caves have stood vacant, though, like Moebius himself, they are rumored to be only a facade for a much larger, more elaborate complex.
Alright, important question here.
I sensed that Kain was here, and at that moment, I would have plumbed the depths of hell to find him.
How does he know anything about Moebius? Did Kain explicitly tell him any of that information? Because if he did, wow. He was being very generous with his lieutenants who probably didn't need to know any of that. Alright, well, that... Oh. Set him on fire. Give me your soul. You're not getting back up and you're not coming after me. You're gonna die and you're gonna stay dead. How would he know any of that information? They don't really do a good job explaining that. Circle this. One of these can be circled. There we go. They give you this special power to be used for just one type of puzzle solving and maybe killing enemies, but just, you know, you don't have a ton of purpose for it outside of that. And I'm not going to walk in circles around enemies, because that just makes it easier for them to kill me. Aha. Alright, what's going on over here? Two handles and a clock. And Moebius? The statue?
This, I deduced, must be the man himself, the Time Streamer, Moebius. He seemed not at all the impressive figure I had imagined from Kain's boasted exploits. And yet, even this cold image radiated a certain undeniable power.
Okay, so Kain did tell them. They didn't just know. They didn't scry that information or magically just imbibe it from Kain, just from existence. Guessing I gotta pull these multiple times, get them to point to one particular symbol. Let's go ahead and point them both south and see if that does the trick. So one there, and... Nope, nothing. What's up? Maybe? So pointing it at that didn't do anything. Alright, keep pulling the handles until we get something. Ah! Bingo. I did it! I unlocked time! That's how it works. You point the time sunlight at the time sunlight portals, and time suddenly works. I mean, scientists have to figure out where the time sunlight is somewhere in our world. Turreline? Are there any Turreline down here? No? Okay, well, I see this room. This seems like a bad idea, but I'm jumping down there. Whee! Okay. I have a feeling I gotta turn these to face the direction of the corresponding color, and then that will... Okay, so we want a blue and a red here to get them to turn purple. Red. And then blue this one. No? There we go. Weird. Okay, well, we did that. Now we gotta do the other one. Other ones. And I'm guessing you can turn this by walking in circles around it. So this is red. And then the one over here has got to be blue. Weird, you can't turn them counterclockwise. It always has to be clockwise. Whatever. Turn, please. Red. So does hitting them turn them off? Yes. Alright, so let's do the last one and all three will be burned. Done. I'm waiting for the final encounter anytime now. It's gonna just pop out at some point. This is the part of the dungeon where the contractor got a little bit lazy and didn't make a smooth floor. Yeah, I've learned my lesson. You can stay down there, idiot. Not picking that out of you just so you can claw me once and take away my sweet, sweet Fire Reaver. You dead, and you dead for a reason. Uh-oh, are we about to face Kain? Nope. Okay, come on. Aw, you little prick. Gotcha. Alright, so these all have dials. I get that soul before it goes back in his body. Yeah, you're not getting that. Alright, so... red needs to be pointed at the deer antlers. Let's see. Deer antlers are here. All right, so I need to get red to there. Is that pointing the right way? Sure is. All right, now blue is lightning bolts. Lightning bolts are right there. So let's spin, spin, spin. Next one. There we go. Right? Is that the lightning bolts? Yes. All right, and then yellow needs to be pointed at the threes. Where are the threes? Right there. So if I go backwards, it should let me turn it to the right one, right? Nope. Where'd it go? You're not pointing at the... oh, yeah, there. Alright, blue is pointed at the The lightning bolts, the deer antler. Not pointing at the deer antler anymore. Oh, wait a minute. I wonder if every time I do this, the other hands move as well. That might be it. There we go. That was weird. I had it right once, and then it unrighted itself. It wronged itself after I righted it. Hello! Listen, I have to fight fair, dude. If I want to, I'll just nuke you with sunlight. Like so. Nope, you didn't get a hit. Suck it. Aha, I killed you and your friend. Wherever he was. Was? Will be? Alright, whatever. See, the lady's telling me I did a good job. She said, ooh, She's been on my side this whole time. I don't think they realize it. I was supposed to make that jump, wasn't I? Can I make that jump? Whee! Alright, well, he's dead. Whoa! Wow. I think we're good here. Gobble that soul. Oh, never mind. Oh, I got it anyway. Haha. Coming back later stronger than ever. Alright, so we got a series of blocks that I have a feeling I have to move. And no way to get back up there, which means I probably have to go spectral. Look up. There you go. Damn. Well, gotta give up Fire Reaver, I think. Let's save. Aw, damn. The thing I thought it was gonna flatten out and become a bridge didn't become a bridge. There. Uh-oh. There's a Frightener on me! Where is he? Oh, there he is. You're not eating my soul, you little bitch. Get out of here. I'm gonna eat you for that. Yummy! Yummy! Okay, so it's not there. It's gotta be that, right? Yeah, because you can see the thing. Alright, so tippy toe to the ledge. Jump. Got it. Hopefully I can make this! Ah, damn it. Alright, we're gonna get this. So, do I gotta... Oh, wait. I bet it's that right there. Make it, make it, make it, make it, make it! Got it. Alright, so we made it here, but what did that accomplish? Alright, save before I make any mistakes. I can get to that. That's what it accomplished. Nope. Damn it. Waited too long. Okay. Don't. Let's save. Before I make this jump and botch it. And go. Made it. Now, what does that take me to? It takes me to this. Yeah! Whoa! Hope I was supposed to be down here. Well, if not, there's a wall I can jump. This is how I got up here, right? Yeah. Alright. Well, let's glide instead. Or just jump. Whatever. Nothing I can pick up at this point that's going to make the game any easier than it already is. There's a guy right here. Ah, shoot. No! Damn it! Oh, you little prick. No, face him. Yeah, there you go. I don't have anything to kill him with except for some fire. Burn it up. Give me your soul. And my sword back, please. Thank you. I'm betting I have to push that out over. See you. Betting I gotta push this one over. Oh, damn it. Time to use a little more glyph juice. Oh. I'd use the others, but none of them will actually kill him. They'll just stun him. That will kill him. Oh no, it wasn't enough to give me my weapon back. Alright. Tell you what. What we can do is portal back to Spirit. Gulp up the soul I need. And then just go back. No, no, no! Get out of here. Alright, now obviously they're giving you the portal, or the vertical view because they want you to put the 4 pieces in the 4 corners of the map. The question is, do they line up exactly the way that they're currently facing, or do I have to turn any? I think I have to turn some. So, like, this one is in... Alright, so I gotta flip that, turn it, and then flip it back to be in the right alignment, from what I can see. Right? Yep, perfect. Alright, so that one's right. This one is right. And then these two... Gotta roll both of them. I think this one should be right now. Let's flip it up, right? Nope, still wrong. Oh, that's not what I wanted. Oh, I see. So, you are right. And this one is wrong. So that one I gotta turn... See if I get this right. I think. Roll it. No, no, no. Get back. Get back. Flip it. And then flip this one. No, still not right. Hold on. Flip it like that. Now it should be right. There we go. And done. Said it before and I'll say it again. If this is what you had to do every night to get home, I don't know if I'd go home. I'd just say this isn't worth it. More symbols on the walls. It usually means I'm going to have to memorize them. So we got U, triangle, circle. Order is U, triangle, circle. See if I have to use them. Hello. What the hell? Oh, you dumbass! Unbelievable. He walked over to it and they said, I'm not going to swing my weapon. Not this time. Give me your goddamn soul. Piece of shit. Thanks for nothing. Oh, we gotta memorize what the bottom is. Alright, well. Let's see. Alright, so triangle for the curly musical note one. Triangle. We gotta go this way. That's right. Then stomp it? No. And cross goes to U and Z goes to O. Cross to U, Z to O. Cross to U, Z to O. Z to O. So go this way. Close enough. Alright. And then the final room. Haha! Nope. 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 Sit your ass down. I'll tell you when you can get up. Alright, take this. Take it. Throw it. Thank you. Give me my soul. Not enough. Of course it wasn't. Cross to you. Alright, I moved a thing, I guess. Gotta jump on that, right? Got it. Oh, on the first try. Now watch my botch. Anything back here? Nope. Other side. What did that do? I don't know what that did for me. Oh, there's another one here. And jump! Well, they definitely made the final area of the game loaded up with the puzzles. Alright, third one to go. Although this doesn't feel like a puzzle so much as busy work, but whatever. Got it. And done. I don't know where that door is. Hopefully right here. No. Back this way. The hell did it open? This way, right? Yeah, there we go. This is entirely too complicated to get down to. Seriously, I'd be like, you know what? I don't need to tamper with the the flow of time that bad. I'll just stay home. See, the singer agrees with me. She was like, oh, I think we made it. I think we made it. This is, I think, the end of the game. Or we're on Space Mountain. Alright, I'm getting a view of the beginning of the game.
In this miserable age. What trickery is this?
It is no illusion, Raziel, but a glimpse into the currents of time itself.
That's a very cool visual effect. Alright, let's go through. Or not. What the hell was I supposed to do here? Just keep going? Can I get my health back first? I don't want to go into the final chamber of the game half-cocked. Let's get some juice. Watch, I'll do all this backtracking and find out there was a portal or one of those little energy recharge stations right outside the final gate. And then I'll feel like a dum-dum. Anytime now. Got it. This rate, I could have just walked there. I'm gonna get my juice back just walking. Hey, I see you. Ah, you jerks! Uh-oh. 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 No, 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 no. Damn it! Stop it! No, no! You little bastards. Of course. Of course. You're not getting anything from me, buddy. Burn his ass down. Jackass. Nice try, but you get nothing. I think the game really does the player dirty by doing that. And it seems like they did it on purpose on every single warp point in the second half of the game. There's an enemy right there to attack you immediately after you portal back to the material plane. It's just bad design. It's not fun. It doesn't make the game more engaging to immediately strip you of your sword the second you materialize. Find better ways to punish the players for poor gameplay. Don't just do it as a matter of course. Well, you had portal out, so we're going to punish you portaling back in. Get effed. Of course, these are only going to show us what's happened in the course of the game. Nothing before. See? Nothing doing, dog.
These apparitions torment me. Has this all been foretold?
Like that sound when I was leaving the flashback. Cool sound effect. Final gate. This has got to open. You don't put a seam in there like that unless it's a door that has to be opened somehow. The next one will actually be the Stargate, and we're going to go to the planet, the Egyptian planet that you see in the movie.
Impossible. This must be one of Kain's deceptions.
Sorry, bro. Really happened. In case you were so bored or disconnected from the storytelling, they're going to show you all the important beats that have happened up to this point. But without any of the dialogue to actually connect it to what actually happened there. Now, we haven't seen this yet.
My mind reels with conflict. Does Kain await me moments from now? Or in some century yet to come?
Oh. That doesn't sound like people's voices warping. It sounds like the sounds my stomach makes when I'm hungry. See, the singer agrees with me again. Oh. Alright, now we get to find out what happens even after we beat Kain. Or maybe just 5 seconds after we face off against him. Wah, wah, wah. And here's a video from Crystal Dynamics' upcoming Avengers game. No.
This cannot be. What madness does this scene portend? Kain must think me credulous to suffer these lies.
Well, that just seems awful. Why would you kill Ariel, you monster, you? This is almost certainly going to be a longer episode because we're going to try to go ahead and beat the game here instead of finishing it at the 1 hour mark, which we are fast approaching. The final fight is not that long, as I recall. I heard someone say Raziel there. Ooh, the blade is blood red.
Is this phantasm a conjuration of my mind, or an echo of future events?
Maybe a sequel? That'll be done on a different system with much better graphics? By comparison. I came this way, right? I hope so. If this portal doesn't work, we gotta turn around. Wait, music changed. There we go. Getting close. Are we about to hear a reprisal of the theme song? I bet we are. In case you want to go back and find some more power-ups before the end of the game, as dramatically undifficult as I remember it being, I don't think this is going to be all that important. I don't even think the glyphs are any use to you here. I think you have to just do whatever puzzle they have you solve to finish the game. But it has been a long time. I just don't remember. I remember it being underwhelming. That's about all I can say. Not to give too much away about what's about to happen. I love that they have special cutout places in the walls where they just stuck a marble slab for you to look at. All right, here we go. Probably should save. Right here.
At last, I must say I'm disappointed in your progress. I imagined you'd be here sooner.
Shut up.
Tell me, did it trouble you to murder your brothers?
Did it trouble you when you ordered me into the abyss?
No. I had faith in you. In your ability to hate. In your self-righteous indignation.
Lies. You cannot have foreseen all of this.
Eternity is relentless, Raziel. When I first stole into this chamber centuries ago, I did not fathom the true power of knowledge. To know the future, Raziel. To see its paths and streams tracing out into the infinite. As a man, I could never have contained such forbidden truths. But each of us is so much more than we once were. Gazing out across the plains of possibility, do you not feel with all your soul how we have become like gods? And as such, are we not indivisible? As long as a single one of us stands, we are legion. And that is why, when I must sacrifice my children to the void, I can do so with a clear heart.
Very poetic, Kain. But in the end, you offer no more than a convenient rationalization for your crimes.
These chambers offer insight for those patient enough to look. In your haste to find me, perhaps you have not gazed deeply enough. Our futures are predestined. Moebius foretold mine a millennium ago. We each play out the parts fate has written for us. We are compelled ineluctably down preordained paths. Free will is an illusion.
I have been to the tomb of Seraphan, Kain. Your dirty secret is exposed. How could you transform a Seraphan priest into a vampire?
How could I not? One must keep his friends close, Raziel, and his enemies even closer. Can you grasp the absurd beauty of the paradox? We're the same. Seraphan and vampire. With our holy wars, our obsession with Nosgoth's domination, who better to serve me than those whose passion transcends all notions of good and evil?
I will not applaud your clever blasphemy. The Seraphan were saviors, defending Nosgoth from the corruption that we represent. My eyes are opened, Kain. I find no nobility in the unlife you rudely forced on my unwilling corpse.
You may have uncovered your past,
What a
but
shot.
you know nothing of it. You think the Seraphan were noble, altruistic? Don't be simple. Their agenda was the same as ours.
You are lost in a maze of moral relativism, Kain. These apparitions and portents. What game are you playing now?
Destiny is a game, is it not? And now, you await my latest move.
Owie! I can walk here and get all my health back, right? Oh, maybe not. Oh, yeah, I can. Oh, damn. By the time I figure out where he is, it's too late. Oh, gotcha. Oh, there he is. I can just stay in the center and keep blasting him from here. Aha, gotcha. I don't see him. Are you just gonna keep doing it right there? Yeah, he is. I'll just keep blasting you while you do it, dummy. Oh, he's just laughing. Alright, well. Shut up. Alright, well, whatever. Drop again. damn. I gotcha. I have a feeling I put that health pool in the center because I really don't want you wasting time going back and forth between the planes. It would not enhance the gameplay. Now, where is he? I don't see where he is. There he is. Is he still back up there? Where? I don't see him. There he is. Yes, you're gonna hit me again. Yeah. Ah, damn. I was hoping I could get the run to him, but I didn't. I didn't. Gotcha. Which means the third one's gonna be the toughest because he's way above where I can see. Way the hell up there. Now let's just go stand on the portal until I figure out where he is right now and then try jumping to it. Now where I'm... Ow! There he is. Turn around. Not there. Not there. Not there. Not there. There he is. There he is again. It's gonna be close! Nope, didn't make it. Sucks. Because the energy's right here. Ow. Go. Yeah, of course not. I don't think I can hide from him either. It's just gonna hit me no matter what, yeah. And I have to... Oh, I was gonna say. I have to hit him before he portals... Or before he hits... Alright. What I'm trying to say is, I have to hit him... Like, go right now. Get him! Oh! Got him. That should be it. Changes the thing one more time. I think this is where the game is finished.
You nearly had me, Raziel. But this is not where or how it ends. Fate promises more twists before this drama unfolds completely.
Be
Still hear
warned,
you.
Raziel. Once you cross this threshold, you are beyond my influence.
Raziel,
Ah!
Redeemer and Destroyer, Pawn and Messiah, welcome, time-span soul. Welcome to your destiny.
The end. I wish I was joking. That's the end.
Where time is but a loop, a loose stitch in the universal cloth, a streamer might seize upon a chance, a fatal slip, and plunge the fate of planets into chaos.
And that is why a lot of people really did not like the ending of this game. It just kind of ends, and you get credits. All right, so that was Legacy of Kain, Soul Reaver. The ending leaves a lot to be desired, mainly because you felt like it was building towards something that doesn't actually happen, and we'll get into that a little bit more when I do the final wrap for the game here. Let's go ahead and do the review phase. We'll do a round of the good, the bad, and the ugly. The good is that the storytelling and voice work in Soul Reaver are great. Dev team set out to deliver a moody, adult, cinematic story, and they succeeded. They also artfully dodged issues that might have arisen from players not having played Blood Omen before Soul Reaver, which plays completely differently and has a dense plot all its own that would only complicate an otherwise straightforward revenge tale. The Soul Reaver weapon as a concept is incredibly cool. I love it so much. It's literally a lightsaber that grows out of your arm. The blade is a bright, writhing energy beam that you beat vampires to a pulp with, then use to obliterate their bodies. One of the best weapon concepts of all time, and supplemented by one of the most satisfying long-range weapons of all time, the Force Blast. I was obviously very frustrated by the spider vampires in the Silenced Cathedral mid-game, but once I acquired the Force Blast ability, I could just blast enemies from a distance and finish them off at my leisure. Very cool. The interplay of puzzle solving by shifting between planes is brilliant. If you can't figure out a puzzle in the material plane, switch to the spectral plane and something is likely different. They made it so that the spectral plane is not an impediment in this game or an obstacle to progress. Often, it's the solution to your problem. While it won't be for everyone, I really do like the soundtrack. Admittedly, it is the product of a musician whose primary work is about as late 80s, early 90s as it could possibly get, but the synth-heavy beats and the warping of melodies when Raziel switches between planes is extremely well done. I never found the music dull or annoying. This is one of those things I'd normally not mention, but it's whether it's a good or a bad or an ugly, but the little blue glyph charges that you find whenever you kill an enemy in this game have a very satisfying, bassy thrum sound whenever you stand next to one. An unnecessary detail, but one that I did appreciate in the game. As far as the bad, the frame rate is pretty low, which isn't a surprise given that this is a PlayStation 1 game we're talking about, but it becomes even worse in areas with dense polygonal architecture. Architecture, I can speak. Especially the Silenced Cathedral where all the spiders are. The frame rate became so bad at one point that my inputs were seemingly dropping, and it was driving me insane. I was missing jumps that I had no problem making during the gameplay, and for whatever reason, in that one particular area with all the buildings we had to jump on the top of, it was like I wasn't even hitting the button, even though I know I was hitting it. While we're on the subject of dropped inputs, there is a distinct, noticeable amount of lag between input and action on screen, and it is very distracting. While I would normally chalk that up to the refresh rate of my monitor, or additional lag that may result from the video and audio going from the console I'm using to a capture card on my computer, and from there to a monitor, something that I normally adjust while I'm editing the videos, this was clearly a game issue. I suspect the issue lies with the developers deciding not to allow the player to interrupt most animations with an input, and the game animation already plays out very slowly. Speaking of slow animations, Raziel is a very slow vampire. Standard movement feels sluggish in this game, and I'm sure that was intentional so that the assets could be loaded in the fogged out parts of the screen. It does make the game, or Raziel specifically, feel ponderously slow at times. The act of picking up items and interacting with doors and switches is entirely too finicky in this game. Standing over or next to a switch or weapon is often not enough to interact with it. Often you need to be in one very precise spot or facing a very specific direction to magnetize to the correct spot or have the item fly to your hand. It makes simple actions very frustrating. Soul Reaver desperately needed a map, and it doesn't have one. The design of many areas is not distinct enough to tell where the player is, and without a map, it just feels like you're running in circles at times. The teleporter system, while it would in theory make it much easier to get around the game world, requires players to memorize not only the locations tied to each specific glyph or symbol, but also where the portal actually leads in that area. And frankly, it sucks. Not good. Nowhere near as helpful as it should have been. I found myself just walking to my destination sometimes in the early parts of the game because I wasn't sure where the teleporter would actually take me. As far as the ugly, the Soul Reaver should have lasted longer than it does, where it disappears if Raziel takes a single hit from enemies. I know part of my issue with this is that I wasn't very good at dodging hits, but I really believe making the blade last until you had reached half health would have alleviated all of my complaints here. Or better yet, when you get the ability to light your Soul Reaver on fire, just make it not go away on one hit, or keep your blade active for a little bit longer. I don't know, just anything better would have been better than the second you take a single hit from an enemy, you lose your weapon, and then you're back to just clawing at them with very weak claw attacks. Stop me if you've heard this on the channel before, the PS1 graphics have issues. It's always the case. The big offenders would be the dull color palette in the living realm and the warping and tearing of textures throughout the game. When you get to the elevator with the big braziers near Malkaya's boss chamber, the tracks that the braziers in theory move along, they weren't straight, which was already incredibly odd, but then when you would move across them with the brazier, they would visibly warp in a way that would make it impossible to use. Why that was so hard to lock down is baffling. All that said, given what the game can and does do with the environmental warping when Raziel switches between different planes, graphics aren't that bad. There are a lot of box puzzles. I can't speak anymore. There are a lot of box puzzles in the game, and while I didn't mind them, it does seem like that's all Crystal Dynamics come up with at times. Can't reach a ledge? Stack some boxes. Need to guide a shaft of wind somewhere? Shove some boxes into some holes. Elevator doesn't work? Move some box torches under wood support beams and they'll burn them. Game has great puzzles as long as you add the word box to most of them. Raziel's glyph powers are all hidden around the game world, and without a proper map, I had to look them up to find them. I was never going to find them any other way. And if I hadn't done that, I probably never would have taken the time to track them down. They should have been laid out on the main quest path and easier to locate. Actually activating the glyphs is also not the most user-friendly system in the game, since you have to pause the game to activate them. Although I'm not sure what could have been done to make it better. Ultimately, every button in the game is used for something, so maybe, and I'm just spitballing here, since you don't really use crouching or sneaking much in this game, rebind the L1 key to select and use glyphs. For example, just hold L1 and then press L2 or R2 to change to a glyph that you want to use, and then press square and L1 together to use the selected glyph. It would have smoothed the process of using them out much more. And maybe if they did it that way, I would have felt like using them earlier in the game when we got to, say, the Silence Cathedral, and being able to force blast or use sound to deafen the vampires would have made them much more manageable. Ultimately, I didn't get them until so late in the game that I barely used any other than the fire glyph and the sunlight glyph, because those were the useful ones. The rest of them, they had weird gimmicks that just didn't make them useful. All right, let's go ahead and give the game a score. We do our score in Randars, 1 to 10. I think the boiled down revenge tale, incredible voice work, and puzzle elements go a long way to elevating the score of this game. But it is still hampered by the often frustrating moment-to-moment combat, confusing navigation, and very noticeable input lag. I'm giving this game a 7. 7 Randars. There's a reason that people desperately wanted and ultimately received remakes of this game as well as the sequel. While Soul Reaver 2 didn't need as much polish to fit the memories of the people that loved it like the first game, Soul Reaver 1 has not aged well visually. I didn't really think it was worth mentioning during the review, as it is more likely a symptom of HD resolution showing games for what they actually were, but there is an off-putting amount of pixelation in this game. I imagine on an old CRT, the blurred pixels gave the environments a smooth color gradation, but on a high-res monitor, it just looks noisy. The soundtrack and its composer, Kurt Harland, definitely deserve kudos, as the warping of tunes whenever Raziel switched between planes was very cool. Some areas might have benefited from actual instruments, but I won't knock the composer for sticking to what he knows. The glyphs could have been a game changer if they were easier to find and use, but ultimately they felt like a footnote to the core gameplay, not a meaningful part of it. So those can't really be considered as pluses to the overall gameplay because they're hard to find and they're not terribly user-friendly. Obviously, the game ends on a sour note because what players were probably hoping for simply does not happen. Kain does not meet his end. Nosgoth is not magically saved. Raziel does not get his rest. Instead, you get a simple postscript that says, "Thanks for playing. Sequel coming soon," essentially. Ultimately, they did finish the story 2 games later in Legacy of Kain Defiance, but players were justifiably pissed at what felt like a wet fart of a finish to an otherwise strong game. Part of that, however, was that most players, myself included, never played the first game before playing Soul Reaver, and probably didn't even understand why it was called the Legacy of Kain series in the first place. Ultimately, Kain is the protagonist of the series, whether he's good, bad, or somewhere in between. Raziel killing him isn't the end game. Kain was manipulated by beings far more powerful than he was, and he's the reigning lord of vampire kind. The larger story is about Kain seeking his own resolution to the plot that he himself is entangled within. That he pissed off and empowered a former lieutenant in Raziel is an important part of that story, but he is still the focal point, not Raziel. So yes, the ending sucks, but that's because there's more story to visit. Will we visit those other stories as part of the channel? I'm debating it. I remember finding Soul Reaver 2 to be very underwhelming, and I've only played a little bit of the first game, Blood Omen. Blood Omen 2 and Defiance I have never played. For now, I'm happy with what we looked at for this game. It was a huge hit when it came out, especially when you consider, and this is why the ending is so jarring in the first place, Crystal Dynamics had a very public and messy breakup with the developer of Blood Omen, Silicon Knights. We didn't really go into it too much at the very beginning of the series, but Silicon Knights made Blood Omen, the very first game, and Crystal Dynamics was the publisher, but Crystal Dynamics ultimately wanted to get into the development game themselves, so they used some research that was done on vampire mythology for the development of Soul Reaver. Silicon Knights disliked the fact that their work was being used to create a game without their involvement. They ended up suing Crystal Dynamics to retain the rights to the series, and ultimately it failed. They didn't get what they wanted. Because of the lawsuit, Crystal Dynamics had to basically postpone the release of the game by an entire year, and they were forced to cut significant chunks of the game out just before it released. This included a 5th brother that we never get to see, Terrell, new power-ups, new enemies, and even a 3rd encounter with Kain. That the game turned out as polished as it did is a testament to the work that they put into it, but again, the ending feels so abrupt because they ultimately had more story that they wanted to tell in this release, and they couldn't do it. They ran out of time. That said, most of that gets pushed to the second game, so if you felt like the ending was underwhelming, you pick up the second game and it kind of goes right into what was cut out of this one, essentially. Yeah, the issues that I mentioned can't be ignored, ultimately, so that's why the game gets a 7. If it had a smoother frame rate, graphics weren't as warped and goofy, and more importantly, the core weapon for which the game is ultimately named, the Soul Reaver, was available more often than just when you're at full health, this probably would have been a better game. Unfortunately, the lag and the fact that apparently Raziel is extremely brittle just ruins the flow of the game, because every time I took a hit, I felt like, well, better go back to spectral plane, get all my health back, and then try again without getting hit. And if you get hit, rinse and repeat. It just breaks the flow of the game and makes it a much more tedious experience going into any combat where you can't just force push enemies to death and then go over and stab them to get rid of their body. Yeah, I think they screwed up on that, and ultimately I think it does affect the overall score. 7 Randars. It's an interesting game that I think got higher scores when it came out for a very good reason, because there was something interesting about the design of the game. But looking at it, 26 years after it came out, you can see the flaws. I'm glad they remade the game, and from what I've heard, the new owner, whoever it is, I can't remember the name off the top of my head, Embracer, I think it's Embracer that owns it, they want to make another game. I don't know what story there is left to tell, because apparently the 5th game, Defiance, wraps everything up, but supposedly they have more story that they want to tell. Maybe they go into Nosgoth once it's been cleansed of vampires, but who knows? Until I actually get around to playing that 5th game, I won't have any idea how everything wrapped up. So maybe one day we'll revisit the series. For now, I have an idea for what I want to do for the next long play. It might be a couple of weeks before we get to it, because I do have to work on the Star Wars Spectacular that we're going to be doing at the beginning of May. So that's what my focus is going to be on for a couple of weeks here. But I do have another series that we want to look at, and I think it's going to be a fun one. It has an interesting setup or inspiration that we'll get into when we're setting it up at the beginning of the game. I'll go ahead and say which one it is. We're going to be looking at the very first Medal of Honor game, which came out on the PlayStation 1. But yeah, I think that'll be a fun one to look at. It is an early first-person shooter. It does use DualShock controls, or the thumbsticks. I think the first time I ever played the game, I didn't actually have a DualShock controller, so I did it with the digital thumb pad, the D-pad, and the left and right triggers to strafe, and I didn't like it then. Now with thumbsticks, it might play as a much better game. Hard to say. We'll find out when we take a look at it, but I think it is a game worth seeing as much of as possible, even if it means I might have to save scum a little bit, because this was before Call of Duty and Halo's regenerating health system, where if you took damage, you had to run and find a health kit to get it back, because that was the only way you were getting your health back up if you take any hits. But I think that's a game that we're going to have some fun looking at. Anyway, that's going to do it for our look at Legacy of Kain, Soul Reaver. I'm glad we looked at this series, or this game at least. I think it has some problems, but it was definitely worth taking a full look at. As always, I do appreciate each of you watching, and I will see you next time.